So I'm going to get started, guys. As you know, and as you've seen, and as it says on the screen, today's topic is video calls, something that we're all used to, and I think we're all becoming experts at, right? I'm sure we're becoming experts at problems, at solving problems on the video, at communicating over video, or even by phone. So a lot of the things that I'm going to teach you guys today are good for the phone and also good for videos and for meetings in general. Okay, so we're going to apply a lot of that knowledge to everything that we might need it for. Okay, so I need to introduce myself because some of you might not know me. Okay, my name is Michael Berenson, and I'm one of the directors of studies at Aztecs. Okay, I also teach. I've been in Spain for 11 years. Okay. I'm originally from a small town in Missouri in the United States. Okay, so I've been in Spain for 11 years. I studied Spanish at the university, so I would say I'm bilingual, okay, in Spanish and English. And one of my passions in life, other than travel, is languages, okay? So I speak English and Spanish bilingually, but I also speak some French, Italian, Romanian, and I've studied numerous other languages, okay? So that's a little introduction of me. I'd like to get started telling you guys a little bit about the objectives that we are going to, that I have for you guys, okay? That I have for myself and for you guys, okay? So the main objective is to give you guys some useful phrases that you can say when you're in a meeting, or when you're in a video call or a phone call, okay? Or in a regular conversation with somebody, all right? So this is something that you guys might be able to put to use, might be able to know that you will be able to put to use in your next video call, meeting, or phone call in English, okay? We're going to focus on some problems, connection problems in English, okay? We'll look at some common mistakes. I want to correct a few common mistakes that you guys might have, okay? And those are, you know, my primary objectives for today, okay? So there's something else I want to mention, that today, at the very end, we're going to do a little quiz, all right? It's going to be an interactive quiz. And it's really important that you guys stay tuned until the end, because the winner or the winners of this quiz will receive a surprise prize, okay? So stay tuned, all right? And yes, I'm going ahead, all right, and silencing everybody, okay? Because just so I can focus and we don't have any background noise. But I will ask for participation, okay? When I ask for participation, I'd like you guys to raise your hand, all right? To raise your hand virtually. You have the option to raise your hand, okay? And when you raise your hand, I'll call on you, and you can automatically, in that case, you can unclick the mute button on your mic or microphone, okay? We usually say mic in English is a shortened version of microphone. Okay, well, let's get started, okay? So to get started, I thought I'd give you guys kind of a few tips, all right? I think you might know some of these tips, so I'll go through them really quickly. But these are things that I've noticed in the past few weeks, doing a lot of video calls, even doing classes, giving classes and receiving classes. These are things that help me out a lot, okay? And I think if it's a phone class or if it's a video class that you're giving or receiving, a lot of those same things apply to a meeting, okay? Because I've had a lot of meetings over video or over audio, all right? So it's very important to be comfortable, all right? So if you can, set up your comfortable workspace before the meeting. And I would say, even if possible, stay connected by video, all right? It's really important that your colleagues see you, all right? Because there are studies saying that if you're not visualized in a meeting, that people don't pay attention to you as much, okay? So in my case, obviously for this webinar, you guys have to see me, so you're visualizing me. But I would say for your meetings, if you have the option to, you know, I know a lot of us might be in our pajamas, which is also not a good thing if you're on a video call. I suggest that you dress in your normal clothes, but when you're on a video call, to show your face, because people will listen to you more, all right? So that's another thing. Review what you're gonna see in the meeting before the meeting actually starts, okay? Speak loud and clear, but don't shout. I hope I'm not shouting. I'm trying to speak loud enough so everybody hears me, but I hope I'm not shouting to anybody, okay? Mute your mic when you're not speaking. These things, these typical things, but I thought I'd share them with you at the beginning, just in case, okay? if you want to say something in a meeting, you need to politely interrupt. I'm going to give you guys a few pieces of vocabulary, a few phrases that you can use to interrupt. Okay, so we'll see that a little bit. We can apply those tips. I'm also going to show you guys how to show interest while you're listening. All right, and I hope you guys participate, and I hope at home you're using these tips while you're listening to me. Okay, and in addition, something that you're going to see throughout the webinar are sets of phrases. So if you're doing a video call in English, one of the number one tips I have for you is to kind of memorize a set group of phrases. Or even, I would say, keep with you a little card. You probably can't see the card, but keep that card with some phrases for your next meeting, okay? So today, if you can, while you're watching the webinar, take notes on on the phrases that I'm teaching you, okay? And, I mean, look at this as a class, all right? And put those same phrases to use when you're in your next meeting in English, okay? All right. So for the first part, guys, I want to introduce you to my cousin, okay? I have a cousin, a Spanish cousin. His name is Miguel, okay? He lives in Madrid. He's going to talk to you guys, and he's going to make a few mistakes, all right? And he's going to make 3 mistakes, okay? So I'm going to introduce him to you, and he will speak, all right? And after that, I'll ask for volunteers to tell me the mistakes that Miguel has made, okay? So Miguel, are you around? Would you be able to step in and tell everybody a little bit about yourself? So, yes? Okay, guys, I want to introduce you to my cousin, Miguel Bruno, okay? That's his name, all right? Here he comes. Hello, my name is Miguel Bruno. I am from Madrid, and I am working since 1995 in this company. I am the responsible of IT. Okay, nice to meet you. Bye. All right, well, thank you, Miguel. That was nice for you to participate. I have to say, Miguel, you made a few mistakes. Could my audience maybe help me? Could anybody raise their hand and tell me some mistakes that you heard? Any volunteers? Any brave volunteers today? Yes, I have one. Please tell me. You can go ahead and unmute your mic.
He said working since 1995.
Yes,
and I've been, no?
Yes, very good. So you said, I am working, and normally in this case, you would say, I have been working. Actually, you would never say, I am working since. When we use since, we want to give, show continuity through time. We need to say with have been. All right, what's the other one? I have someone else there, an MAC, an MC. What is your name? Go ahead. You, I think your mic is muted. Could you unmute? Could you unmute your mic?
Yes, now?
Okay, what's your name?
Okay, my name is Mireia.
Mireia, okay, nice to meet you. So what other mistake? Did you notice any other mistakes there?
He said, I am from Madrid. Instead of I come from Madrid.
Well, actually, you can say both. You can say I come from or I am from. So but in this case, they're both okay. I guess maybe depending on which country you come from, all right, you might say I'm from or I come from, okay? But both of those you can say. There was actually another little thing there that a lot of people maybe don't realize, all right? And this is something that I see a lot when people are introducing themselves, when they're talking about their...
He said, I am responsible of IT, and I think it's responsible for.
Yes, good, perfect. Yes, that's the one I was just going to say. Yes, very good, Mireia. It is. He said, I'm responsible of. I'm the responsible of. In English, there is no job title called the responsible. Okay, we would call this person a head. Okay, so we have the head of IT in this case. We wouldn't have the responsible of IT because that doesn't exist. All right, but we could also say I'm responsible for IT in my company. All right. There's one third thing that I don't think you guys will notice, but this is kind of one of my little pet peeves. Okay. when we're introducing people in the meeting, I already introduced Miguel to you guys, okay? So Miguel was already introduced, okay? And he repeated his name again, all right? So when someone says, tell me about yourself, or introduce yourself to me, when they've already said your name, you don't need to say again, hi, my name is this, because we already heard your name, okay? So just go directly to it, all right? So this is, to get started, I wanted to go through those things for you, okay? So we're talking about not repeating your name again, okay? Remember to say, I'm responsible for, or I'm the head of, all right? And always remember to use that present perfect continuous, okay? I have been working here for this much time, all right? So then, once we've got the introductions going, the chairman of the chair of the meeting, okay, needs to get the meeting started. Do you guys, anybody have any idea of how we would get a meeting started? Any vocabulary from all of the English classes you guys have had throughout your life, or maybe personal experience that you've had? Anybody know? All right, I want to teach you guys a few idioms, okay, that are related to starting meetings, okay? We can say something general like, all right, guys, let's get started. Or, okay, everyone, let's get started. Or something I really like, which is an idiom for you guys to remember, let's get the ball rolling, all right? So literally, it's like you have a ball and you leave it there and you get it rolling, okay? So let's get the ball rolling. Then we've got another option, which is let's get down to business, all right? This is kind of more serious. It's kind of like, okay, let's cut the small talk. Let's get down to business. We have a lot of things to do today, so let's get down to business. And the next one I have here, it says we have a lot to get through today, all right? So it's very similar. We have a lot to get through. I'm going to get started, or I'm going to get down to business, or let's get down to business, all right? A lot of times we say it collectively, so everybody is getting down to business, all right? Okay, very good. So after we get started, sometimes we might have some things like a few connection problems, all right? Which is very common in video calls, but it can also happen in regular phone calls. You can have connection problems, all right? So I'm gonna simulate a few of these connection problems, but first, before I simulate, I wanna teach you guys I wanna go through it with you and teach you some of the things that you might say, okay? So before we actually do the simulation, I wanna see some of your feedback on this, okay? When would we say, could you mute your mic, please? You can either put it in the chat, or you can raise your hand and tell me. Could you mute your mic, please? Any idea? When would we most need to say that? That connection problem. This is something that happens a lot. Yes, Germán, tell me. You might want to, when you hear noise in the background, Germán, you might want to unmute your microphone. I think your microphone is on silent.
Okay.
You unmute. Ah, yeah, there we go. I can hear you now.
Now, when there are a lot of noise in the conversation, I do need that the microphone was mute in order to be listened for the audience.
Yeah, perfect. That's probably the main reason. Maybe if some of you guys have kids, you might have your kids in the background making noise, or some of you might have neighbors really close that might be loud, you know, so it might be good to mute your mic. And I just realized that I have my patio here, and I had the window open, so I just shut the window because I don't want to be guilty of the thing that I'm talking against, you know? Okay, so good. Yes, that would be one of the reasons. Another could be echo. A lot of times if you have a lot of people connected, this can happen when we're in our own offices, and when we get back to work and we have a video call, and both you and your colleague across the room are connected to the same video call. If one of you doesn't have your mic muted, you're going to hear the echo, okay? What does it mean when I say my Wi-Fi must be out of whack? Does anybody have any idea? Sorry, I'm going to drink a bit of water because I'm speaking a lot and my mouth is getting dry. Okay. Anybody have any idea what it means to be out of whack, if something is out of whack? Yes, I have two people have their hands up, so whoever first in telling me, what could that mean?
That is not working.
That is not working, yes. It's out of order, or to sound more, so you guys sound a bit more colloquial, okay, we can say out of whack, all right? So I suggest you guys say this out. Hey, sorry, connection's really bad. Oh, sorry, I think my Wi-Fi is a bit out of whack, okay? Good. Another thing, when your screen has frozen up, all right? We say our screen is frozen up. We don't say our screen is blocked, okay? So if a screen is frozen up, what do you think you could tell somebody? Well, in addition to your screen is frozen, it has frozen up, all right? That would be related to your video, okay? All right? But I've given the answer right next to here. It's try turning your camera off and then on again. That's a typical thing. I don't know if it works. I'm no expert on connection problems, but this is a typical thing even when I'm having video calls with my family. Oh, I'm gonna turn my camera off and on again and see if that works. So this is something you can try, and sometimes it does work, okay? All right? If you wanna continue and just to see if it's working and to check with somebody, you say, how about now? Is it working now? How about now, okay? If you suddenly notice that someone's voice is kind of going away, let's say, you can't hear them quite well, you can say, I'm sorry, you're breaking up, okay? And then when you completely don't hear anybody anymore, and the call might even get dropped, you say, oof, I just lost you, okay? These are actually both useful in relationships as well. You can break up with somebody and then you lose them at the end. So think of a video call as a relationship, or not, okay? So I want to simulate this with you guys, all right? What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna simulate a few typical problems, all right? So don't be alarmed if you see that I turn my video off or if I turn my microphone off. So I just want one of you guys to participate and just tell me what you would say in this case, okay? So I'm gonna do the first simulation. Don't be alarmed, it's just a simulation, okay? So I'm gonna do the first one, and then I wanna volunteer to tell me what is wrong. Okay, you just saw that I had technical difficulties there. Can anybody tell me what you would say in this case? Germán, you still have your hand up. Can you answer?
Yes, this is the microphone is mute.
Yes, perfect. Very good. Yes, your microphone is muted. Yeah. Okay, very good. Thank you, Germán. All right, so I'm going to simulate another one, okay? All right, so guys, I'm going to show you this chart that I have behind me. Can you see these figures that I'm showing behind me? What would you do in this case? Any volunteer here? Yes, I've got Macarena. Tell me.
And can you turn your camera on?
Yes. Can you turn your camera on? Or if you want to be more polite, you would say, could you turn your camera on? Another quick tip for you guys: when you say can or could always sounds a bit more polite. So depending on who you're talking with, it might be better to say could. Could you do something? But can is fine as well, as long as you're saying please. Okay. Maybe if you're speaking with your friends, you just say, can you turn on your mic, or can you turn on your video? All right. Good. And then if you hear me talking like this, what would you say? What would you say if you heard someone talking like that? Yes? Tell me. So I have two people with their hands up. So whoever's first to tell me, go ahead.
I'm sorry, Michael, you're breaking up.
Perfect. Yes, I'm sorry, Michael, you're breaking up. All right, good. All right, I'll let you guys all, if you could, put your mics on mute again, and then we'll go to the next slide, okay? Good. So those are some typical connection problems and ways of getting around them. This is something, unfortunately, we still have to deal with. Nothing's perfect, okay? All right. The next thing I kind of want to show you guys is how we can show that we're interested in what someone's saying. It's very important, even more so when we're doing video calls or phone calls, that we're showing interest, okay? So you have the typical things like nodding your head, making this interested face, kind of like, okay, yeah, I agree with you. Yeah, I like what you're saying, okay? Make sure you're looking at the camera as well. That shows that people are listening to you, okay? Smile if you can. I'm trying to smile as much as I can today. I think I'm very smiley because it's a day off work today, so it's kind of, you know, we're all relaxed. We're just hanging out, even though in confinement, but we have to smile and think that there's less and less time of confinement, okay? And there are these words that we would use, okay? So you might know some of these words, or these might be new to you, but it's really important to show that you're listening to the other person, to say something like, okay, uh-huh, uh-huh. You can say, uh-huh, yeah. Yeah, you can say, all right, I see, okay. You can kind of do these things, all right? So I want a volunteer, because the next simulation I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about something, and this something might not be very interesting, okay? But I want you guys to show that you're interested in listening to what I'm talking about, okay? So do I have a volunteer who could do this for me, who could show interest while I'm talking? Just raise your hand if you'd like. I've got Nacho, perfect. All right, Nacho, you can unmute your mic and I'm just gonna start talking, okay? So, okay. Yeah, so this morning I made breakfast. I cleaned the house a bit. I thought I'd do some laundry. Then, you know, I swept the floor. I started mopping. Right. Then I cleaned the windows a little bit, okay? All right, very good. Very good, Nacho. That was like the most boring thing that somebody would talk about, but you were a very good listener and you showed me that you were listening, all right? So this is important, guys, even if it's something boring, to show that the other person is listening. And later we're going to see something important, which is how to interrupt somebody, all right? How to interrupt somebody politely, which may be a way to cut what they're saying if it's something really boring, or if you're in a meeting and someone's wasting your time, all right? So, the next part is really important when you want to intervene when somebody is talking, okay? So I'm gonna give you guys a few phrases, okay, to paraphrase. I think you guys know what paraphrasing is. It's when you take what someone says and you shorten it, or you say it in a different way, okay? And this is very good to show that you're understanding. So the fact that you're already listening and saying to somebody, oh, okay, oh yeah, I see, all right, yeah. It's good as well, every once in a while, to interject or to interrupt and say, so this means that, or, oh, wait, well, correct me if I'm wrong, but if I understand correctly, you're saying this, this, and that, okay? Or if I'm not mistaken, in other words, or if I'm hearing you correctly, okay? In this part, I'm gonna need 3 different volunteers, all right? Because I'm gonna tell you guys 3 interesting facts, and I want you guys to paraphrase these facts for me, okay? So I'm sure I've had plenty of volunteers, and we have plenty of people. We actually have, there are 15 of us in total connected. There are actually 14 people connected, plus me. So we have plenty of people here to volunteer. I hope I can get somebody else to volunteer as well. And so who can be my first volunteer? Go ahead and put your hand up. I know you guys you're dying to volunteer. Good. I've got Germán that says he will help again. So you have the paraphrasing expressions here on the screen, okay? And I'm going to tell you an interesting fact. You need to paraphrase that, okay? So something that you may or may not know: the national animal of Scotland is a unicorn. The national animal of Scotland is a unicorn. How would you paraphrase this?
So this means that the unicorn is the animal from Scotland?
Yes, perfect. Very good. Good job, Germán. I'm gonna applaud you. Yes, very good. Good. All right, I'll need another volunteer for the next one. Anybody willing to volunteer? Okay, we've got Mireia there. All right, Mireia, did you know that bees, you know, bees, these buzzy animals that make honey, sting other bees? So they don't just sting humans, they sting other bees.
Wow, correct me if I am wrong, but if I understand correctly, you are saying that bees also beat other bees?
Bees also sting, yes, other bees.
Sting.
Perfect, very good. Very good, Mireia, yes. We say a bee stings another bee, Good. All right, and I need one more volunteer for this last piece of information that's really, actually really cool. I'm sure, I know someone else out there will volunteer again, I'm sure. All right, I've got Nacho that says he'll volunteer again. So Nacho, did you know that when you take showers, all right, these showers spark, okay, creativity, all right? They make you more creative. They make you think of creativity. They spark creativity.
Sorry,
Go ahead,
that
Paris.
wasn't good. I didn't understand the full.
The connection.
Yeah.
The connection wasn't good. Okay,
Yeah.
sorry. Showers spark creativity.
Okay, if I'm not mistaken, then if I take a shower, that will spark my creativity.
Ah, perfect. Good, 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 good. All right.
Thanks.
Good. Well, thank you guys for volunteering. Yes. If you could go ahead and mute your mics again, because I think some of those mics are still on, and that will just affect the audio. So, but later when I call on you, you can go ahead and put your mic back on. Okay. So thank you very much. All right. So other than paraphrasing, another good thing to do when we're in a meeting is to analyze different ideas. We're not always going to agree 100% with what's being said, or sometimes we will. And it's good to show that you're listening by analyzing these ideas, okay? So I'm going to tell you guys a few phrases, all right? We're going to volunteer in the same way that we did before, okay? With some of these expressions, all right? So you see here we have several expressions for agreement and disagreement, all right? And I want to look at the side that is the agreement side first, okay? Because we have something here that I think will confuse a lot of people. It's, you say, I couldn't agree more, all right? When you say that I couldn't agree more, this means you really, really, really strongly agree with something, okay? It's like impossible to agree anymore, all right? Even though it sounds negative, it's actually positive and expresses agreement. And we say this a lot, all right? So I encourage you guys to say this when you're in a meeting, okay? You don't say, that's exactly how I feel, okay? This is something very, you sympathize completely with that idea. You feel the same way, okay? Or if you're in a meeting and one of your colleagues says something that the other colleague, one colleague says something and you agree with that and you'd like to support that other colleague, you could say, I have to side with Miguel on this issue. He's made a very good point, okay? Or you have a point there, okay? Or if someone kind of took the words out of your mouth, maybe we don't know how to say this, we can say, I was just going to say the same, or the same thing, okay? I was just going to say the same thing. Then, sometimes we do have to express disagreement, all right? Not everything's perfect, and it's perfectly fine, but it's important if you express disagreement to be as polite as possible, okay? So, I hear what you're saying, okay, to show that you're listening, but I think differently. I think it's the other way around, okay? I appreciate, this sounds very nice and polite, I appreciate why you think that, but this is not exactly how I would approach the issue, okay? I respect your point of view, but from my perspective, this is not the best way to approach our new plan, okay? Or this one simply, I'm afraid I have to disagree. In English, you know, we use this word a lot. We use this expression, I'm afraid something, all right? It doesn't mean we have fear, really, but we say it to be polite. I'm afraid I have to disagree. I don't want to disagree, but I have to, all right? It's kind of my obligation, okay? So now, I'm going to ask for a few more volunteers because I have some ideas. You guys can either agree or disagree with these ideas, depending on what I say. So you might think I'm completely crazy for saying them, but that gives you the option to agree or disagree with what I'm saying, all right? So who do I have as a first volunteer? Perfect. I've got Ricard. You haven't volunteered yet, so fantastic. All right. Ricard, you can go ahead and unmute your microphone, and I'm going to tell you one of my ideas, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So, my first, Toledo is the capital of Spain.
Well, I'm afraid I have to disagree on that, Michael, because that's completely false.
Perfect. Good job.
Madrid is the capital of Spain.
Yes. Yeah. I had to think of really crazy things to tell you guys, because if not, you wouldn't disagree with me, okay? All right. I'm going to tell another one. Is anybody ready? Anybody else? Any other volunteers? Don't be shy. Don't be afraid. Go ahead. Germán, you're my star volunteer today. You and Mireia are my star volunteers, so perfect. All right, I'm going to tell you another one. I'm getting really, really tired of this confinement. This is just really taking a toll on me. I'm tired of this confinement. Do you have your mic unmuted, Germán?
Yeah. Now?
Yeah,
Can
perfect. Now I hear you.
Can you repeat, please?
Yes, yes. I said, oof, I'm really tired of being in confinement.
Well, I couldn't agree more than you.
Yeah, all right. I couldn't agree more. Yes, I couldn't agree more with you. Yes. I couldn't agree more with you or with what you just said. All right. Good. And let's get one more volunteer. Somebody else? Maybe Mireya? You're my other good volunteer. Or maybe Macarena or Nacho. All right, Mireya, yes, perfect. Go ahead and unmute your mic. I'm going to tell you something. Actually, you know, I think tomorrow is Sunday. Tomorrow is Sunday.
Well, I hear what you're saying, but I should say that tomorrow is Friday.
Ah, okay. I guess I'm thinking because it's a long weekend. Today feels like Saturday and tomorrow feels like Sunday. All right. Thank you very much. All right. Very good. Thank you guys so much. All right. Good. So the next thing that might happen in a meeting, what I mentioned before, is you might need to interrupt somebody. Okay. So for this part, we need to be polite. Okay. And we need to say things that are polite. All right. We can't just say, okay, sorry, stop talking, I need to talk. No, we need to be polite. So we need to say things like, I'm sorry to interrupt, but I have to disagree, for example. I apologize for the interruption, but I want to say that I couldn't agree more. All right. Could I add something here? I was just thinking that your idea was really good, but I have a different way of seeing it. Okay. Or I could just say this is more informal, but if you're with colleagues or people that you already know, you have a relationship with, you would say something like, do you mind if I, good, all right. Ricard just said one, we've got, do you mind if I jump in? And Ricard just said, do you mind if I step in? Or could I step in? Or I'm sorry, could I step in for a moment? And this is another good one. Yeah, could I step in? Instead of jumping in, you can just step in, all right? Jumping in sounds more enthusiastic. Stepping in is kind of more polite, right? So you can use any of these for interrupting. To put this to the test, I'm going to introduce my cousin from Texas, okay? So my cousin from Texas is going to talk, all right? I don't know if you're going to understand anything he says because he has a really strong accent, all right? And I want one volunteer to interrupt him, okay? So I'm going to bring in my cousin Cletus. He's from Texas, okay? So Cletus, can you come in? Yeah. I'll be right there. Hi, guys. My name's Cletus. Well, anyways, what I was saying is I really think the idea is great, the idea that he has. So if you all really agree with him on this, maybe you should just tell me. Or if you want to interrupt, you can interrupt. So do I have anybody interrupt me right now? Anybody want to interrupt? Any volunteers? I've got a volunteer. Go ahead and interrupt me. Go ahead. Unmute your mic.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but I don't understand you. Could you speak more slowly?
Oh yeah, I can speak a little slower, but I've got a really strong accent, okay? Well, I'll let you go for now. Bye.
Bye.
I'm sorry, guys. Cletus has a really, really strong accent, and sometimes it's necessary to really interrupt him so you can understand what he was saying, okay? So if I have to say it, sometimes I don't understand it myself, okay? So good. So now you see that sometimes, even if you don't understand what somebody's saying, you can interrupt, right? Be polite, but feel free to interrupt, especially in a meeting, because sometimes in meetings, if you don't have a chance to say what you want to say, you kind of feel like this meeting has been useless, okay? So it's really good to be able to interrupt in a meeting, all right? Very good. So I have one more thing to do before we get to the final stage and to the quiz at the end, okay? And it's to tell you guys a bit how to wrap up a meeting, okay? Does anybody know what that means when I say to wrap up? What does it mean to wrap up? You can tell me, you can write it in the chat. If I wrap something up, there are different meanings, okay? But the phrasal verb meaning, I've got finish here, okay? It is similar to finish, okay? But it has a bit more than finish. Perfect, yes. I have Ricard and Mireia both said it in a different way, to summarize or to give a summary. Yeah, both are perfectly fine. So when you wrap something up, you're giving a summary at the end, okay? So I'm kind of summing things up, or what I want you guys to see is how to sum things up, or to wrap things up. So this is a good phrasal verb for you guys to use in meetings, okay? Say, okay, guys, I'd like to wrap everything up, okay? So that's why I put this here, because I think it's really important to wrap things up, all right, in a meeting. So when we're wrapping things up in a meeting, we might say things like, okay, I think we've covered everything for today. I'm just going to run through the main points of the meeting, okay, or what we've seen, okay? It looks like we've run out of time. Maybe a lot of times now we have meeting after meeting after meeting because we're working virtually. We need to have a lot of meetings to stay in contact with our colleagues. And so a lot of times, I know I have to do this a lot, I have to say, sorry guys, but I've got to go. I have to interrupt in this case. Usually I'm not chairing the meetings that I'm in, but if I were chairing, I would say, guys, it looks like we've run out of time, or that we are running out of time in the moment, and we need to finish, okay? So I'll send you an email with all of the details, okay? Or I'll send an email with a summary of what we've seen, okay? If no one else has anything to say or to add, we can wrap this up, okay? Or this word again, this I'm afraid we have to cut this meeting short because we have to go to another meeting, or 3 people need to go to another meeting, or it's already 10 o'clock at night, we need to, I don't know, rest or something. I don't know. So this could be another option, okay? So these are things that I want you guys to keep in your mind. I hope you've been taking some notes today and that you have all of this with you. So for me to wrap up, I just want to tell you that the objectives have been met today, all right? I showed you guys some common mistakes, and I gave you guys a lot of phrases that you can use while giving you some of my own personal tips. You can take them or leave them, but I think these tips will help you. And then the biggest tip, the one I said, it was at the very end of the list, is that you keep these phrases close to you, and you can use these phrases when you're in your next meeting, all right? And I think having these phrases is going to keep you much more confident, okay? So if any of you guys have any questions for me, I don't know if you might have some questions for me, feel free to ask. You can put them in the chat, or you can directly tell me the questions here. Okay, I'm glad it went well, and I'm glad you guys learned things, okay? So that's very important for me, all right? Well, if you guys don't have any other questions for me, all right, we'll at least go ahead and get finished for now. We'll go ahead and finish, all right? So I hope you have a very good weekend, and I hope to see you. Yes, Ricard, I hope to see you next time, or I hope to hear you next time, and you hope to see me. So, but I hope that you attend the next one. It would be great to have you again, which is next week. We're doing one on consonants, okay, on pronunciation of consonants, okay? Next Tuesday, very good, yes, and next Thursday. If you can't next Tuesday, you could maybe next Thursday, a week from now. So you have either Tuesday or Thursday at the same time, at 1 o'clock, all right?